In order to register a new event, we now use the New button located in the top right-hand corner of the Capture app. This replaces the previous Register Event button. We can see that after we select the New button, the form will open up for me to review. This is also different than the previous app, in which an event date was selected in order to open the remainder of the form. Keep in mind that despite this change, an event date is still always needed. We can see that there are some changes in how the form is displayed to the user as well, with larger text and more subtle color changes differentiating the data elements within the program. We can quickly enter some data into the form in order to see some of these differences in action. When we have entered our data, we can then choose to save our event and exit. This will take us back to the Registered Events page. By clicking on the down arrow, we can also select Save and Add Another. This will allow us to save the current event and add another event. This is the recommended process when entering multiple events to the program. An additional feature in the new Capture app is that it keeps track of the new events we have been adding during our data entry session. As we click on Save and Add Another, the events we have entered will appear at the bottom of the screen. The blue button is contextual. After we select Save and Add Another, but have not entered any data, we could end our data entry session by selecting Finish. This will take us back to the registered events list. Once we have started to enter data, however, for a new event, in which in the previous event we selected Save and Add Another, the button will now change to Save and Add Another by default. We can also now save and exit using the down arrow and selecting the option when we have entered the last record during our data entry session. In addition to entering events with the data elements listed vertically, as has been the case in previous versions of DHIS 2, we can also enter data using a new feature called Row View. Row View will change the format of the data entry form so the fields are displayed horizontally, as compared to the vertical layout that is now default in what is called the Form View in the new Capture app. We can switch between views by using the Switch button located in the top right corner of the data entry screen. As we add new records, we can see the previous records that have been added are being saved and appear at the bottom of the Row View entry page. This view can be particularly advantageous as you can fit multiple data elements on the same screen without having the need to scroll down vertically. This gives the person entering data easier access to the data elements in the program. Listed or pop-up items, such as option sets and dates, can benefit from this view, as you do not need to constantly scroll down to fit their selection on the screen, when compared to the form view using a vertical structure. We can see an example of this when we select the date of discharge in the row view. If we compare this to the selection in form view, we can see that we have to scroll down in order to access this data element and select the date. When we are at the top of the page, we cannot even see the date data element. If we switch back to row view, we can quickly access this data element and enter the date. This can potentially lead to saving a fair amount of time during data entry. In forms that do not have a large number of data elements, this view potentially allows you to fit all of the data elements in the program on the same screen at once, as is the case for this inpatient morbidity and mortality program. For forms that have a large number of data elements and sections within them, less vertical scrolling will be needed within this view. This has been a brief overview of the new Capture app within DHIS 2. We can see that there is a completely redesigned interface that adds additional functionality, including sorting of columns, row view data entry, and a contextual save button. If there are additional questions about the new Capture app, please do not hesitate to let us know.